This is 7 o'clock. This is the East Lyme planning meeting. First, we'll do a roll call. We have two representatives who are not here, or three representatives right now. Kirk Scott, Nick Menapace, and Tom Fitting are not here. So we have Tim LaDuca and Sandy Gignac will be in their place. So let's do a roll call.
Cindy Collins.
Tim LaDuca.
Rich Gordon.
Brian Bombeck.
Sandy Chinack.
Thank you. Time for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so now's the time for public delegations. Public delegations are the time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission about certain matters, items, referrals, or applications subject to decision by the commission. A public hearing or in litigation may not be discussed. During delegations, the members of the commission will not directly answer questions or make comments. I don't see anybody from the public here, so I guess not. Next section is reports. Communications, I don't have any to report. Next is the zoning representative. I did attend a couple meetings. There was like meetings regarding a conceptual affordable housing plan on Boston Post Road that went over, I guess, 5 or 6 meetings. I went to a couple of them. The last meeting, they denied the conceptual plan 5-1. There are concerns about traffic and environmental issues. So we'll see in the future where they actually put together a plan, land for the group, whatever. It wasn't really anything really binding for the conceptual plan at this point. They just wanted feedback, and there were concerns addressed by the zoning commission. They also, the last meeting, they had permits that they renewed, a whole group of permits. I think those were the major issues. Next is the ex officio. I guess we have Don McKenzie from the Board of Selectmen. If you want to speak. How are you? Any updates or anything?
No, sir.
No, sir?
Just finished up with the budget.
Okay.
With the financial right now. I was exhausted.
Yeah. Can imagine. Yeah.
No updates reporting.
Okay. Thank you. The next is the planning director, Gary Gaishel. Gary is on vacation, so we don't have any updates. Subcommittees, we don't have anything there. As chairperson, I don't have any updates. The next is the approval of minutes from the March 12th, 2024 regular meeting. Is there any discussion, or anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
March 12th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? Okay.
I'm yes,
You say-
and I was going to abstain because I wasn't here.
Richard, she was holding her hand up.
I'm sorry. You want to hold? I'm sorry.
I'm your zoning liaison for the evening.
Yeah, I think when they have the zoning representative, it's.
Oh, is that?
I attended a couple meetings, so I guess, they don't they want us to comment or whatever. So, I guess at your zoning meeting, you probably comment on what you had in the planning meeting. So it's not really a.
Right,
the
but
loan
I have comments pertinent to tonight.
You can, if you want to speak, you can. I guess.
Okay. Nancy Kalal, 80 Grassy Hill, zoning representative. I hear that you are thinking about changing the need for an archaeological review, and I think that it's really important that we keep that as part of our review process for any development that happens. East Lyme has a really rich history, not only of Indian artifacts from pre-1800s, but 1800s to 1900s, and then 1900s to 2000s. But it's really the Indian history, 1800s to pre-1900s, that's so important that we need to respect as what we come from, what my great-grandparents came from, and yours. So I urge you to keep that. I don't really, quite honestly, I don't care what it costs the developers. My theory is that if a developer has deep enough pockets to develop in East Lyme, then he has deep enough pockets to hire a decent archaeologist to publish readings. Thank you.
Let's say no, let us,
Speaking for the zoning commission or for yourself?
Sonia has local,
Zoning.
you probably should, oh, that's all right. But we're going to have, that's on the agenda, and anything we discuss, I mean, it'll have to go to a public hearing anyway, in terms of the,
I just wanted my 2 cents to
Okay.
be heard, since I get to have my 2 cents heard.
okay, thanks. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any subdivision or re-subdivision applications going on. And so now we're getting to the issue that Nancy was discussing, the zoning referrals. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the, yeah, it was the zoning referral. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the zoning referral, different zoning referral. For the Connecticut General Statute 83A1, there is a application for Eric Parker Esquire, a proposed text amendment to add section 20.26M of the East Lyme zoning regulations. Basically what we do here is we just make a determination whether it's consistent with the POCD, and then we notify the zoning commission what we decided, but basically they make the decision on whether to change do a text amendment for the zoning regulations. So basically, we're commenting on how we feel that it's consistent with the 2020 POCD. I think Gary said he was going to write something up, but I didn't see anything in the website. So
Yeah, there was no materials. I just looked.
right, I think he was kind of on the fence of whether it was consistent or not. But I think basically you have to make a decision at this meeting, because I know they didn't discuss it. It was on the agenda for the last meeting, and they kind of I think they decided to wait because we know we were going to discuss it at this planning meeting. So I think we should make some sort of comment on this meeting. But does anybody have any comments or questions or any thoughts on this?
Yeah. I just want to reread.
Well, my thoughts, I guess, that it's consistent in terms of, the economic development, and that's on Chapter 9, in terms of increasing economic development. Basically, the text amendment would add a section to the 20.26 of the East Lyme zoning regulations in terms of drive-through establishments. Right now, it's only allowed if it's on a state street. They want to make it more flexible, I guess, to allow it on streets that are in East Lyme that aren't state streets. So they asked us to comment on whether we thought it was consistent with the POCD. I guess I think there was, as Eric Parker made the proposal. So I think the zoning commission is going to discuss that at the next meeting. My thoughts, I guess, is consistent in terms of economic development. Major concerns, I guess, would be potential traffic issues, and that's covered in another section in the chapter 14 of the POCD in terms of transportation. The number of entrances, I guess, could potentially be affected. So that's the major negative that I see. Anybody else have any thoughts? Or?
Well, I don't want another Starbucks
Right.
situation like we had before with that one.
Right.
And that caused a major traffic problem right at that intersection there. And we should probably just take a look at that when we're thinking about.
Yeah, I think that was
The
that
text
might have been
amendment,
the
yeah.
impetus for this.
Yeah.
And they might have moved the location, so I guess it could cause an increase in traffic in one location and decrease in the other. I think when zoning addresses this, that they should be doing a traffic, I would think they'd be doing a traffic study on this, so
evaluation,
to
yeah.
address that issue.
Would it be just changed for good or changed per case?
It would be a text amendment for their zoning regulations, so
Okay.
allow it on the states.
Okay.
State roads along. Right now they allow it on, the local, the ones that East Lyme controls. The state roads, they allow it on the state roads, these drive-throughs. I don't know how many drive-throughs we have in East Lyme, maybe 3 or 4.
It's mostly CVS's and Walgreens and Starbucks, Dunkin',
Starbucks,
McDonald's.
all the Dunkins, so.
Does anyone have any thoughts or any comments or wish to do a motion?
So this amendment is just saying that it's going to be more flexible and that it doesn't have
Now
to
it's
be a
going to
state road.
change.
It could be a town road. Is that
Right.
It just
That's-
gives more
that's my
flexibility.
understanding, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds reasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes it flexible.
More flexible.
Or
right.
is it going to
Right.
be the rule?
Right. Okay. More options, I guess.
Options, right?
Anybody else have any thoughts or comments? Or
I have mixed emotions about it.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think there's a mixed
Same.
type of
Pros
thing.
and cons.
Right. I mean, it's not. We're not the ones making the decisions. We're just
Right.
we're just commenting
Is
on
it
it.
consistent?
Right.
I mean, it will add economic growth, but at the expense of
Traffic.
potential traffic
Mhm.
issues, which, in
Safety.
all honesty, during the summertime, we have
That's a
enough
problem.
of.
Mhm.
I mean, we can
But I don't know how much of an impact
we can
this
say
is
it's
going to
consistent
have.
and list a caveat with the traffic issues. I think might be appropriate.
I think as long as they do a study on the traffic and they,
Right.
determine
Yeah. I
that
hope
it's
they would. Yeah.
not feasible,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, the problems offset the benefits a little bit, so.
Right. Does anyone want to discuss more? Or do you want to? Does somebody want to do a motion? Just, I can do a motion. I would make a motion that regarding the text amendment to add section 20.26M of the East Lyme zoning regulations that it is consistent with the POCD in terms of economic developments, with a caveat that there could be traffic issues that should be addressed with a traffic study during any sort of application. Does anyone want to amend that or do a second?
No, I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? No. Okay. Passed 5-0. Okay, so the municipal referrals, we have none. Old business, we have none. The new business, Gary mentioned the subdivision regulations. He wanted to discuss a few amendments to Section 4 on the application submission procedure. One was the issue that Nancy had addressed in terms of
Archaeology.
the archaeological text, and the other was on, let me see this. Bring out the regulations here. Section 4. Sorry. There's section 414 of the zoning of the
414.
the commission and agency reviews for the subdivision regulations. They wanted under I guess it'll be under the environmental review and evaluation section 414-3. There's a section that says shall be subject to environmental review and evaluation by the East Lyme Planning Commission and the East Lyme Commission for the Conservation of Natural Resources. I think they wanted some flexibility in terms of, they wanted something definitive in terms of the time period. I know in section 414.2 they discussed 30 days as a time period. So I don't know, I guess we can discuss, I guess, the archaeological decision first. And what we're discussing here isn't really to make a decision on whether to approve it, because it's going to have to go to a public hearing. And basically what we're going to decide on is whether it should go to a public hearing. And we're not deciding on whether to approve it or not. I mean, we don't have to, there's no specific timeline, I guess. We don't have to make a decision tonight if you don't feel comfortable making a decision without Gary present. Or...
So that's the only thing that we're considering is the archaeological?
No, there's two. I'm sorry, I should have separated two. The archaeological one and the time period for the conservation of natural resources to make a decision. They wanted something specific in writing, 30 days or so.
Really be nice to have Gary here for this one.
Yeah.
In terms of the archaeological one, it's just basically during the application process, and they still could, after the site plan is submitted, we can still require it, you know, with the bond and everything in terms of the afterwards. So it doesn't preclude them to doing the archaeological study. It's just a matter in terms of timing of the study.
Do we determine? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Do we determine how long it takes them to do that, or is that
study?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
We're just discussing whether to take it out of the application, the pre-application process.
Okay.
And you still can require it, and my understanding is still can require it on the during the actual application afterwards. You know, in terms of if we approve it, we can put in conditions all times.
And we were talking about that last meeting, correct, with Gary on that?
Right.
Yeah, it's just to get through the application process and then require afterwards, you know.
Again, we're not making a decision whether to approve or not approve, just deciding whether it should go to a public hearing, and at the public hearing, obviously, anyone can comment on it.
I mean, I think it should, because clearly we have some interest. You know, it should go to public hearing.
Right. I would agree that we should at least let the public comment on it and see what they say, then we can decide accordingly.
Let's do that.
So I guess the first motion we can take up is the archaeological. Let's get the exact. The archaeological survey. It's in section 423B. So I guess we can submit a motion to send the discussion on the removal of the archaeological survey from the application submission process to have it go to a public hearing, basically.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. So then the other issue I addressed is under the time period for the East Lyme Commission on Conservation of Natural Resources to submit a report to the Planning Commission. Gary didn't mention a specific date. I know that on the Regional Planning Commission, they have 30 days after transmittal, but that Regional Planning Commission is only advisory, so it's less of an issue, I think. So I'm not sure if we should specify.
What's the average time? Do we know? Is it
I'm not sure.
a year or is it 2 months?
I mean, we can wait on this and ask Gary the next meeting if you want to wait.
Yeah, I
'cause
think he would probably have those numbers.
I'm not clear exactly how it's the average time in terms, so we can hold off and make a decision on that one, I think. I don't know, do we need a motion for that, just to hold off on that decision? Or I don't know if it's necessary.
Go table it.
Well, we can motion to table the
Oh, okay,
Submit a motion to table the amendment to the subdivision regulations, section 414-3, regarding the conservation of natural resources, to discuss what might be an appropriate time period for the East Lyme Commission to submit the plan, and what the average time is in the past. So,
Good. Second. I'd
thank
second
you.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Passed. I think that's it in the agenda. So I think the only thing we left is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. Okay. That was good.